Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're digging into a bike that's generating quite a bit of buzz. It's bringing back a really well-loved name.
That's right. We're looking at the 2025 Honda Transalp 750, based on a recent article covering this new mid-size adventure bike.
Yeah, and our mission, like always in these deep dives, is to figure out what makes this bike tick. Why the return now?
Exactly. How does Honda mix that, that heritage of the original Transalp
Yeah.
with all the modern tech and performance that riders like you expect today? Practicality and adventure. That's the goal.
Right. Okay, so let's start there. The original Transalp, it has this almost legendary status for some people. Super versatile.
Totally. It was known as a real do-it-all machine. Commute on it, tour on it, hit some trails. It wasn't extreme, but it was capable.
So bringing the name back, it's more than just slapping a badge on a new bike. It sets expectations, doesn't it?
It really does. Honda's signaling they want to capture that same spirit. Approachable, balanced, but updated for, well, now.
Right. So let's get into the guts of it. What's powering the 2025 version?
Okay, the heart is a 755cc parallel twin. Liquid-cooled, standard stuff there. But the interesting part is its roots. The article mentions it's derived from Honda's NC750 series engine.
Ah, the NC engine, known for being, like, super efficient and having loads of torque down low, right? Good for commuting.
Exactly that. Very practical, very user-friendly power delivery. But Honda hasn't just dropped it straight in. They've tuned this version quite differently. We're talking 91 horsepower, peaking at 8,500 RPM.
Okay, 91 horses, that's pretty healthy for a mid-sized twin.
It is. And crucially, 67 pound-feet of torque at 6,500 RPM.
So what does that actually feel like when you're riding?
It means you get strong acceleration when you ask for it, but you also get that really useful grunt lower down the rev range. Makes pulling away easy, great for climbing hills, or, tackling technical bits off-road without having to scream the engine. Smooth, linear power. That's the aim.
Gotcha. And I saw something about the engine being a stressed member of the frame. What's the benefit there?
Yeah, that's smart engineering. It means the engine itself forms part of the bike's structure. The main benefit. It helps make the frame lighter and more rigid, which directly contributes to that low overall weight we'll talk about, and sharper handling.
Okay, makes sense. So good engine helps keep it light. How does the power get to the wheel, and what keeps you safe?
Standard 6-speed manual gearbox.
Yeah.
But the clutch is an assist and slipper type.
Assist and slipper. Explain that quickly.
Sure. Assist means the clutch lever pull is lighter. Less effort for your hand, especially in traffic. Big comfort win. Slipper is more about control during downshifts. If you shift down aggressively, it helps prevent the rear wheel from hopping or skidding. Much smoother, much safer, especially if the surface is a bit loose or wet.
Right. Stability is key on an adventure bike. And safety systems. ABS. Traction control.
Yep, got the essentials. Dual-channel ABS is standard. So, independent anti-lock braking for front and rear wheels. Helps keep things stable under braking on pretty much any surface. And you also get traction control. Helps prevent the rear wheel spinning out if you get a bit eager with the throttle, particularly, on gravel or wet roads.
Good standard features. Now, it's 2025. Tech is expected. What's the dashboard like? Connectivity.
You get a nice, clear 5-inch TFT color display. Shows all the usual stuff: speed, revs, gear position, fuel. But it also integrates your ride mode info and, importantly, turn-by-turn navigation prompts. Plus, it adjusts brightness automatically.
Navigation built in. Or does it need your phone?
You need your phone, yeah. Connects via Bluetooth using the Honda app. So you run the navigation on your phone, and the directions pop up right on the bike screen.
Okay.
The app also lets you check vehicle info, manage calls, messages, that sort of thing. Keeps your phone away, lets you focus.
That integrated nav is a really nice touch for touring or exploring. Now, you mentioned ride modes. That sounds like a big part of its adaptability.
Oh, absolutely. There are 4 preset modes, plus one you can customize yourself.
Okay, break them down for us. What does urban mode do?
Urban mode basically softens everything up. Throttle response is gentler, and the ABS and traction control are set to their most interventional levels. Ideal for smooth, predictable riding in the city. Maximum safety net.
Makes sense. Then tour.
Tour mode gives you a more balanced feel. Full engine power, but still fairly standard intervention from the electronics. Good for highways, long distances, general road riding.
Okay. And gravel, that sounds interesting.
Yeah, gravel mode is specifically tuned for off-road. It adjusts the power delivery for lower traction surfaces. And, crucially, it reduces the intervention from ABS and traction control. Allows a bit more wheel flip, which you actually need sometimes for control and loose stuff. Let the bike move around a bit more.
Lets you slide a little.
Yeah, in a controlled way.
Yeah.
Helps with steering on gravel.
And the last one, User mode.
That's your playground. You can individually set the power delivery level, the amount of traction control you want, and even the engine braking effect.
Ah, so you can really fine-tune it, like create a rain mode light or a sporty gravel setting.
Precisely. It really lets you tailor the bike's character to exactly how you ride or the specific conditions you're facing. Very powerful feature.
Cool. Let's talk looks and comfort. How does it visually fit into the adventure scene?
It definitely borrows that rally-inspired styling. Tall screen, protective fairing, looks the part. The source mentions things like dual-purpose tires are standard, and you can get accessories like skid plates, hand guards, crash bars to make it more rugged. Full LED lighting, too.
And comfort for the long haul. That tour mode suggests it's meant for big miles.
Yeah, ergonomics seem focused on comfort. It's got that classic adventure bike upright riding position, takes the strain off your back and wrists. Good for commuting, too, not just touring.
And the windscreen.
It's adjustable, which helps dial in wind protection depending on your height. The seat height is quoted at 850 millimeter. That's about 33.5 inches.
33.5 inches. That might sound a bit tall for some folks.
It's pretty typical for the class, gives you good visibility. But the key thing the article notes is the seat is quite narrow where it meets the tank.
Ah, so it makes it easier to get your feet down.
Exactly. Even if the number sounds high, that narrow shape can make a big difference for shorter riders, or just building confidence when you're maneuvering at low speeds or stopping,
Yeah.
especially combined with the bike's weight.
Okay, yeah, let's talk weight. The article really highlights this. 215 kilograms wet, which is what, 474 pounds? Says it's way lighter than competitors. Why is that such a focus?
Because it's potentially a game changer for this class. Weight or lack of it impacts everything.
Yeah.
That low number comes from things like the frame design we mentioned, compact engine. It all adds up.
And the benefit for you, the rider?
Agility.
Yeah.
Pure and simple. Less weight makes it easier to flick around in corners, easier to handle in traffic, less intimidating.
And off-road must be huge there.
Oh, massive difference. Picking your way through technical sections, dealing with sand or mud, even just picking the bike up if you drop it. Lighter is always better off-road. It makes the bike feel really manageable, confidence-inspiring even for newer riders venturing off pavement. But experienced riders will appreciate that nimbleness too. Plus, good ground clearance helps with obstacles.
So, nimble handling, what about the suspension soaking up the bumps?
Up front, it's got 43 millimeter inverted forks, Showa SFF-BP, if you want the specifics. They offer adjustment for preload and rebound damping.
Preload and rebound, what do those let you tweak?
Preload lets you set the initial sag, basically adjusting for rider weight, passenger, luggage. Rebound controls how quickly the fork bounces back after hitting a bump, helps keep the tire planted. In the back, there's a ProLink monoshock, also Showa, with preload adjustment.
So having that adjustability, especially preload front and rear, is pretty important for an adventure bike, isn't it?
Absolutely crucial. It means you can set the bike up properly whether you're riding solo, two-up, or loaded with gear for a trip. Makes a big difference to handling and comfort when the load changes, right?
Practical stuff then. Fuel tank. Range.
Tank holds 16 liters. That's about 4.2 U.S. gallons.
And how far does that get you?
The source suggests around 300 kilometers, maybe a bit more. So roughly 186 miles per tank. Obviously depends heavily on how you ride.
186 miles. Decent range for commuting or weekend trips without constantly looking for fuel.
Yeah, it's respectable. And while it doesn't have built-in luggage mounts like some bigger bikes, it's designed to easily take aftermarket racks for panniers and top boxes. So you can definitely gear it up for travel.
Okay, so summing it up, who is this bike really for?
I think it casts a pretty wide net, honestly. You've got that manageable power, the really impressive low weight, the useful tech and ride modes. It seems perfect for someone stepping up to their first proper adventure bike, or maybe someone downsizing from a bigger, heavier machine, but still wanting real capability. Seasoned riders looking for something more agile should find it appealing too.
So we've dived deep into the 2025 Honda Transalp 750. It seems Honda's really tried to recapture that original magic versatility. You've got a potent, modern engine, smart tech that actually helps the rider, thoughtful design for comfort and adventure, and perhaps most importantly, that low weight giving it real agility.
Yeah, it really shapes up on paper as that bike that can genuinely handle the Monday to Friday commute, the weekend blast on twisty roads, and then, confidently hit the trails without feeling like a handful. It avoids being overwhelming.
Okay, so here's a final thought for you to chew on based on everything we've discussed today. Given its specific blend of features, that torquey but manageable engine, the significant advantage of its low weight in the midsize class, and especially the flexibility of that customizable user ride mode, how does a bike like this new Transalp potentially redefine what we expect from a midsize adventure bike? Does it blur the lines between everyday usability and true off-road potential more effectively than before?